July 1944. Red Army soldiers smashed through the gates of a camp near Lublin, Poland. Battle-hardened men who survived Stalingrad. Men who saw hell on the Eastern Front. They step inside. The stench hits first. Burnt flesh. Then the silence. Mountains of human hair. Piles of children's shoes. Ovens still warm. Some of them vomit. Others just stand there, frozen. What they found will change the world forever. This is Majdanek, a name most people have never heard. But on the night of July 22nd, 1944, it became the first major Nazi death camp the world would see with its own eyes. The Germans built it right outside the city of Lublin, close enough that locals could see the smoke rising every single day, close enough to smell it. It started as a forced labor camp in 1941. Prisoners breaking rocks, building roads, starving to death in the mud. But that wasn't enough. By 1942, it transformed into something else entirely. An extermination facility. Gas chambers disguised as shower rooms. Crematoria running day and night. Here's what makes Majdanek different. The Nazis usually tried to destroy the evidence before retreating. Burn the documents, blow up the gas chambers, scatter the ashes. But at Majdanek, they ran out of time. The Red Army moved too fast. The camp stood almost completely intact. The gas chambers, the ovens, the warehouses packed with victims' belongings. All of it preserved like a museum of murder. When those Soviet soldiers walked through the gates, fewer than 500 prisoners were still alive. Most of them Jewish, skeletal, barely breathing. The dead? Estimates put it between 78,000 and 235,000 people. Jews, Poles, Soviet prisoners of war, children. And the man who ran the crematoria, who perfected the process of turning human beings into ash, was still out there somewhere. His name was Erich Muhsfeldt. Before we go further, understand this. What you're about to hear isn't just history, it's documented testimony, eyewitness accounts, trial records. If we don't share these stories, the victims become invisible again. So hit subscribe. Make sure their voices stay loud. Erich Muhsfeldt was born February 18, 1913, in Neubrück, Germany. Not some psychopath from birth, just a working-class kid. He went to school for 8 years, learned to bake bread, got married, had a son. In 1933, Muhsfeldt joined the SA, the Brown Shirts, street thugs who beat up communists and Jews. 4 years later, he switched to the SS, the elite, the true believers. By 1939, he was a full Nazi Party member. January 1940. He joined the SS division Totenkopf, the Death's Head units, named for the skull and crossbones they wore on their uniforms. These weren't regular soldiers. They ran the concentration camps. Their founder was Theodor Eicke, the first commandant of Dachau. He built the system, taught them that prisoners weren't human, that cruelty was duty, that killing was just paperwork. Mushfeldt absorbed every lesson. August 1940, posted to Auschwitz. He served as a block leader, oversaw prisoner work details, learned the mechanics of the camp, how to break men, how to make death efficient. November 1941, transferred to Majdanek. And here's where the baker disappeared completely. At Majdanek, Mushfeldt became head of the crematorium, the man in charge of disposal. Bodies came in, ash came out, that was his job. But he didn't just supervise. The gas chambers at Majdanek were crude at first. Rooms sealed with bricks and mortar. Zyklon B pellets dropped through vents in the ceiling. Victims told they were going to shower, told to undress, told to hurry, then the doors locked. 15 to 20 agonizing minutes, clawing at walls, screaming. Then silence. Mushfeldt's crew dragged the bodies out, loaded them onto metal trolleys, pushed them into the ovens. He got good at it, very good, but efficiency wasn't enough for him. Survivors testified that Mushfeldt walked through the camp with a truncheon, a shovel handle, whatever was nearby. He beat prisoners unconscious for sport, for smiling at the wrong moment, for looking tired. One man smiled at a passing wagon. Mushfeldt saw it, walked over. beat him until his jaw shattered and his teeth scattered across the ground. Another prisoner moved too slowly. Mushfeldt grabbed a shovel handle, shoved it down the man's throat. Slow, deliberate. The man choked to death in front of everyone. He once told a prisoner, "I'm going to get you soon, and I'm warning you, I'm going to burn you alive." He kept that promise. A Polish woman resisted being taken to the gas chamber. She scratched his face, drew blood. Mushfeldt had her tied to a trolley, conscious, screaming. He pushed her into the oven himself. The doors closed. Her screams went on for minutes, then silence. A witness named Jerzy Lang saw Mushfeldt carry Jewish children into the crematorium. 2 in each hand, little bodies dangling. He disappeared inside. Seconds later, revolver shots. The truck engines outside roared louder. To cover the sounds, what kind of man does this? What switch flips in the brain that makes a father murder other people's children? Mushfeldt later said it himself. "It makes no difference to me whether I kill 1 person or 80. He wasn't a monster born in darkness. He was trained, rewarded, promoted, and the killing had only just begun." October 1942. Majdanek's gas chambers became fully operational. Jews from across Poland arrived in cattle cars, packed so tight they could barely breathe. Many dead on arrival. The survivors stumbled off the trains, straight to selection. Left meant work. Right meant death. Most went right. They walked to the showers, told to strip, fold their clothes neatly, they get them back after. They never did. The gas took 15 minutes, the burning took longer, the ovens couldn't keep up. Bodies piled in the yards, Mushfeldt ordered them stacked like firewood and burned in open pits. The smoke rose over Lublin every single day. The smell drifted into town. People knew, they just didn't talk about it. Then came Operation Harvest Festival. November 3rd, 1943. Heinrich Himmler ordered the annihilation of all remaining Jewish laborers in 3 camps: Majdanek, Poniatowa, Trawniki. Why? Because Jewish prisoners had started fighting back. Uprisings at Treblinka, at Sobibor. Himmler wanted to eliminate any chance of resistance. In 2 days, 43,000 Jews were murdered. At Majdanek, they dug trenches. Long, deep ditches. Then the prisoners were ordered to strip, stand at the edge, machine guns opened fire, bodies fell into the trenches, layer after layer, blood pooling at the bottom. And to drown out the gunfire, the Nazis blasted music through loudspeakers. Waltzes, marches, anything loud. 43,000 people, 2 days. Mushfeldt supervised part of it. Walked along the trenches, shot anyone still moving. Afterwards, he went back to the crematoria. Business as usual, May 1944. Mushfeldt transferred back to Auschwitz-Birkenau, just in time for the arrival of Hungarian Jews, hundreds of thousands of them. The crematoria ran non-stop. Smoke blackened the sky. The air tasted like ash. Mushfeldt oversaw the process, kept the lines moving, whipped anyone who slowed down, beat prisoners with iron rods. Dr. Miklos Niesli, a Hungarian Jewish doctor forced to work in the crematoria, kept notes. He watched Mushfeldt kill 80 people in a single shift, watched him laugh about it afterward. One day, a 16-year-old girl survived the gas chamber. She was found breathing among the corpses, barely conscious, but alive. They brought her to Mushfeldt. He looked at her for a moment, then pulled out his pistol, shot her in the neck, made sure the job was done. Jewish boys from the Warsaw Ghetto refused to line up for roll call. Mushfeldt had them beaten, then shot, one by one. He once told Polish prisoners, "If you Poles weren't such fools, we wouldn't have to burn you in crematoria." He believed every word. August 1944. Mushfeldt sent to the Eastern Front. Hungary. The Red Army closing in. He got wounded. Transferred to Flossenbürg concentration camp in Bavaria. Even there, in the final days of the war, he kept killing. Prisoners too weak to walk during the death marches. He shot them on the roadside. For his service, the Nazis awarded him the War Merit Cross, second class, a medal. For murder, July 24, 1944, the Red Army liberated Majdanek. They brought journalists, photographers, cameramen, Soviet reporters walked through the camp and documented everything. The gas chambers with Zyklon B canisters still inside. The crematoria with bones in the ovens. The warehouses stacked with 800,000 pairs of shoes. The world saw it. For the first time, undeniable proof. This wasn't propaganda. This wasn't exaggeration. This was real. Other camps would follow. Auschwitz liberated January 27, 1945, Bergen-Belsen in April, Dachau in April. But Majdanek was first, the one the Nazis couldn't destroy in time. The war ended May 1945. Germany surrendered. The camps closed. The survivors walked out, blinking in the daylight, trying to remember what freedom felt like. And Mushfeldt, captured by Allied forces. January 1947, US military court tried him for crimes at Flossenbürg, found guilty, sentenced to life in prison. But Poland wanted him too. He was extradited, put on trial in Krakow for his crimes at Auschwitz and Majdanek. The trial began November 24, 1947. It lasted 1 month. Survivor after survivor testified, described what he did, how he smiled while doing it. Mushfeldt sat in the courtroom expressionless. The verdict came down. Guilty of crimes against humanity. Sentence: death by hanging. January 24, 1948. Montelupik Prison, Krakow. They didn't use a gallows. They used a hook on the wall. The same kind of hook he used to hang prisoners at Majdanek. Slow strangulation, exactly the way his victims died. His body was donated to Jagiellonian University. Medical students dissected it, studied it, then discarded it. No grave, no memorial, nothing. His wife died in an air raid during the war. His son sent to the Russian front, presumed dead. The man who destroyed thousands of families had his own family destroyed. No tears were shed for Erich Muhsfeldt. If you think these victims deserve to be remembered, if you believe their stories must be told, subscribe now. Don't let their voices vanish into history. Your click is a promise that they mattered. Erich Muhsfeldt was one man, one baker turned killer. But he wasn't unique. Thousands like him operated the camps. Ordinary people who made extraordinary evil possible. At Majdanek alone, over 78,000 people died. At Auschwitz, over 1 million. Across all the camps, 6 million Jews. Millions more Poles, Roma, Soviet prisoners, disabled people, political enemies. The Nazis tried to erase the evidence, burn the documents, blow up the gas chambers, scatter the ashes. But at Majdanek, they failed. The camp stood, the ovens remained, the shoes piled high, and the world could no longer look away. Today, Majdanek is a memorial. The barracks still stand, the crematoria preserved, the shoes still there behind glass. You can visit, walk the same paths, stand in the same rooms, feel what those Soviet soldiers felt that night in July 1944. This isn't ancient history. This happened 80 years ago. People alive today remember it. Subscribe, share this story. Make sure the next generation knows what happened when ordinary people chose evil. Don't look away.